So last year, I made a video on my channel, something like, "What does my imaginary world reveal about you?" And in that video, I was kind of floating the idea that my imaginary world didn't have a meaning, that it was just a bunch of things that I thought were funny, and that other people were welcome to find symbolism or meaning in it if they wanted. And I kind of floated that idea, and probably after I made that video, I started to think, I don't know if that's totally real. I don't know if it's totally true, if I'm correct, that my world doesn't have any deeper meaning. What has always been clear to me is that my world is not like some sort of promotion or um, propaganda. Propaganda is not the right word, but you know what I mean. Like I'm not using my world to try to like manipulate or trick people or to like push some worldview or some agenda. It's not really not really any kind of like political thing in it or something like that. So that was kind of my understanding until about the end of last year, was that the meaning of my paracosm was like authenticity. It was a bit about jokes and parody and humor and me being myself and inner child and things like that. And then at the end of last year, I've started having a flare up of my OCD, and I won't talk too much about that. But yeah, I've gone through. Well, it's not just OCD. A bunch of things happened that were really difficult for me. Apparently, life altering. I don't know if life altering. This is my OCD. You can go. I made another video about this OCD flare up that I had and the way that it affects me. So I won't talk about that too much now. That's linked if you want it. Um, but yeah, I I had these experiences, which are new experiences, in terms of like strength of emotion, in terms of sort of emotional pain. I won't let my OCD begin sort of narrating about things. I'll just try to talk factually. It seems that I've gone through something very difficult. I'm still going through something very difficult. It's been very challenging for me mentally. And what I have found during that is I naturally was experiencing something that was hard to explain to others. It was hard partly to explain to myself. It was hard to understand. And I found myself using my imaginary world, my paracosm, as I started creating like stories or ideas of stories in my mind that would kind of capture the essence of some sort of realization I had about life situations or some painful experiences, and then kind of using the paracosm as a backdrop. So using my world that I have to create these short stories which captured parts of things that I was going through, processing, things that had happened, things that I had realized, or whatever stuff like that. And it happened naturally. My mind just started like using my imaginary world as some sort of symbolism, as some sort of tool to try to explain things. But it's interesting because it still kept, I'm thinking in my mind about these different stories I have in my mind. Um, it still kept this kind of like absurd part. The hedgehogs still eat yogurt. They're still like they eat hummus. Like extra garlicky hummus and things like that. I still kept this kind of playful, weird stuff, but then alongside of it is actually like very, very deep themes that are born out of like like really strong painful experiences. So I'm laughing because that's just my coping mechanism. Maybe in some time, in some months or in years or something, maybe I will not laugh and I will cry instead. Yeah, what I found was that I started noting on my phone these kind of stories that I had, and actually the first one, I was just sort of like pacing around my flat thinking about something, probably ruminating. It's not necessarily good. And then I came up with the idea for the story, and then I wrote down this story. And yes, I've edited it since, but pretty much I wrote it in like one sitting. It was short, it's only A4 or two. Um, and I remember having this very distinct realization that, oh, what was it? Sorry, such a build up for nothing. The realization was the reason why my paracosm didn't have a clear message, or maybe not a clear message, but a clear motivation or emotional core, was because, and I think this is what exactly came to me, was that I didn't have anything to say. Like, yes, there was this kind of overall theme about being yourself, but I remember like the day after having written this story, I wrote it and I thought that's very meaningful to me. I don't know if it'll be meaningful to anyone else, but it's very meaningful to me. And I thought I didn't have anything to say before this happened, and now this has happened. I have a lot to say. I have perhaps a career's worth of stuff to say. I don't know. so so I through this difficult period that I've had, I've gone like it's not like it's difficult and it stays the same difficult. It's difficult and I'm like constantly changing. The way that I see things is changing. The way I see the world is changing. The way I relate to my emotions and my mental health and other people and life, all of it is changing. And as it's changing, I'm writing down notes on my phone about how I want to capture the things that I'm experiencing or whatever through different metaphors and things in my world. And some of them are still silly, but all of them are still silly to some degree because that is my world. But alongside it now is like a very strong personal um, thing. So I'm still going to be posting videos about, like, the different dances that they do in Chutasia when they want to pray to the god of spaghetti. Like I'm still going to be doing that, but alongside that, I have this sort of like new drive of self-expression of I have two stories that are written that are pretty much ready and they're short stories. I'm not a writer, that's why I'm doing videos. Is I'm not a writer and I don't like writing. So having this realization that I wanted to write these stories was kind of annoying. So I've written two very short stories, take about 10 minutes to read each one maybe. um, and I have notes for about 8 more. Some of them are longer than others. And I have a kind of inkling that as I continue on this kind of process of transformation that I'm in, I shouldn't mock myself. Anyway, that there will be more stories emerging. My plan is, I know I'm just like, oh, by the way, guys, I have this plan that I might write a book. So that's the big reveal. The big reveal is, yeah. So I am doing YouTube. I want to do YouTube, but along this, I'm also writing some short stories that are very personal and deep. They do have a message, as in I'm trying to convey something in it, but still it's art, and the reader or the listener, because I'll probably just put some of them on YouTube, it is not really a money making thing. I might make a book available, well, I will probably make a book available of the short stories if people do find them meaningful to them and they would like a physical copy. Then sure, yes, that would be lovely for you to have that, and I will get like £1 and maybe I will break even. But it's not a money making enterprise, at least not yet. It would be great if it was, but I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it for, like, I'm trying to express. Well, still, it's the continuation of the original theme. It's expression, it's experience, it's about me, things that I've realized, but it does have a bit more of a serious tone. My plan is to make these kind of like collections of stories that they actually sort of follow the process of sort of transformation. I don't like to say that I've been through, like sort of processing this difficult experience. And so actually it's kind of funny because I'm working on these like older stories and they're still experiences that I remember having, and there's still things that I want to share that are worth sharing, and in many ways I still feel the thing that I'm trying to convey in the story. But over the months, my sort of framework of understanding and the complexity of everything is so much more that when I go back to like these stories from notes that I wrote in like December or January, I'm like, wow, this is so basic. No, that's unfair. It's not it's not basic. Fundamental. The word fundamental is better. That's actually you need this kind of fundamental understanding so that then if I do go a bit wild in the crazy end book, I have an idea of like writing some sort of Chutasian religious text or something. So I don't know if I'll ever actually manage to bring my ideas to life. We'll see. But yeah, you need the fundamentals to build up so that if I do want to do something that's a bit more advanced in the end, if you had read the previous stories, you would understand the themes, I suppose. So anyway, that's the big reveal. Was I planning to talk about that in that video? Okay, well, here I am talking about it. Is that, yeah, so I had said last year that my world didn't have a meaning. Well, it does have a meaning. It does have a meaning. It's self-expression, and it's things that I find funny or that I want to say. And these stories come from deep human pain, and but still you can interpret what you want from it. It's art. I have found, continuing to talk about, this experience I've been through, this bad experience, I'm just going to keep talking about forever, probably. Probably, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's life defining, I don't know, Sarah. um what was I going to say? Yes. Having been through this, I've seen, like, how my relationship to art has changed. Through this experience, I've found that my relationship to, like, art, and by art I mean, like music or poetry or even like classical music that doesn't have any words, that I used to find, no, the other way. Oh god. Oh well, whatever. I guess you'll have to see what I actually look like. Right, there we go. Yeah. I found that, I used to, like, only like, it's not like I didn't used to, like, connect to music or worry about the meaning of a song, or, play a song on repeat thinking about a specific thing. Like, I've always done that. But through this, I suppose because I've experienced, like, such an array of emotions at such high intensity, I can really, when I see art now, I can kind of connect more to, like, I don't know. I feel like I have some sort of, like, X-ray goggles on, where, like, when I see someone singing about something or whatever, like, I feel like I somehow understand more what it is that they might be saying. It's not like I had no emotional depth before, but, like, um yeah, before that, like, it's not like I didn't like classical music or soundtracks or things like that, but normally, things that I would get upset with would be, like, maybe lyrics or something that particularly touched me. But yeah, through this, now I can listen to someone playing the piano and I'm sobbing. Great. Such emotional depth that was opened by such trauma. Thank you. Um, and and what was I going to say? And yeah, just things like, like art, as in, like, paintings and stuff. I was never really, I mean, to be honest, it's to a lesser degree, but yeah, now I can kind of look at, like, a piece of art and I can think, like, wow, like, maybe I understand what you were trying to get across when you drew this. Like, it's a bit weird. So yeah, my relationship to other people's art has changed, and maybe that also makes me think that perhaps there is a place for me to put some of my stuff online, and maybe other people will find that it sort of clicks with, it shows, it reflects back to them their experience in a way that they couldn't write or couldn't express themselves. Like, okay, sure, it's through, like, sort of um cake, yogurt, potato loving hedgehogs, but yeah, maybe the themes, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe people will connect with the themes. Maybe they won't. I'm going to write my stories anyway. All right, so that's that video. If you want to watch another video, try this one. YouTube thinks that you will like it. Bye bye.